I recently made a video about how I'm really enjoying the MPC Sample as my first MPC, but the one thing I did not like is that there's no native or easy way to export your sounds, your multi-tracks, into a DAW like Studio Pro so that you can continue the project later on. Well, I finally figured it out, so in this video I'm going to show you how I am exporting the sounds from each pad into Studio Pro, and ultimately how I am integrating all of this into my template so that I don't have to set this up again. Now, when I was first trying to set this up, the mistake that I was making was that I was trying to make the MPC the parent and Studio Pro the child, and it actually has to be the opposite. Studio Pro needs to always be the parent and the MPC needs to be the child, meaning that whenever you hit play or record in Studio Pro, that should trigger a play or record on the MPC, thus allowing you to record your sounds into Studio Pro. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, until Akai gives us better integration, this is still a tedious process. And it is possible, and it's made easier by integrating it with your template like I'm gonna show you, but it is still an involved process, so just keep that in mind. In any case, let's start off with the MPC here, and the first thing we have to do is we have to set our MIDI configuration properly. So for that, go ahead and hit Shift, then Pad 8. I'm gonna screenshot this here and put it up on the screen so you get a better view. But the one thing I will say here is that under the MIDI sync in, I have set mine to MTC or MIDI time code. I know a lot of people who are doing this with other DAWs have theirs set to MIDI clock, but at least for me, for Studio Pro, this only worked under MIDI timecode. Okay, moving on to Studio Pro, what we're going to do here now is set this up as a template so that it is pre-configured and we don't have to do this again. To get started, let's first add the MPC as a MIDI device. And so for that, we're gonna do Studio Pro, Preferences, External Devices, and let's hit Add. Once you get this window, click on New Keyboard. We're gonna call this Akai under Manufacturer, and then MPC Sample under the device name. You can leave the MIDI channels to all, but under Receive From, we're gonna do MPC Sample. And then under Send To, we're going to also do MPC Sample. Now finally, at the very bottom, make sure to select the Send MIDI Timecode checkbox here, and then hit OK. Now this is going to allow Studio Pro to connect and talk to the MPC, but as an added bonus, we could also just now use the MPC as a regular MIDI keyboard. If you like to use Impact, you could also just use it as a regular drum pad. Okay, from here, hit on back to Studio Pro, Preferences, and then click on Session or Song Setup, depending on what version you are on. This is going to land you on the input and output matrix. And the first thing you want to do here is you want to make a new virtual input for the MPC. So for that, hit Add Stereo. We'll call this MPC Sample, and you could even actually unlink it for now from any hardware inputs, so it looks just like that. Go ahead and hit Apply, and then the very last thing, and this is very important, the very last thing that I want you to do is I want you to export this entire configuration. I'll explain why this is important in a little bit, but for this, click Export, and as you can see, I already have mine saved, but name it whatever you want. Select your location and then hit save. Okay, last but not least, we need to create some tracks so that we can record the audio from the MPC pads. And so for my specific template, the way that I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna click on my drums folder, which currently houses my other drum tracks, and I'm gonna press the T key. This is going to bring up this window here, and I'm going to add a folder, call this MPC, and I only want one, so let's hit OK. With that new folder selected, I'm gonna press the T key again, and then what I'm gonna do here is go over to audio. We'll rename these tracks in a second, but I do want 5 for now. And then make sure we have stereo selected. And then for the input, I want MPC Sample, and then we can hit OK. Now I like to have my drum tracks in blue, so I'm gonna change that there. And then we can rename these tracks. Now, obviously, depending on the size of your project on the MPC, you might need more tracks, but at least for the sake of this tutorial and for this template, I'm only going to include 5 initial tracks to get started. And so the very last thing we have to do here now is save this as a template, and that is super easy. Just head on over to File and Save as Template. Once you're at this window, you can either save it as a brand new template, or you can hit Replace Existing to update any current template you already have. But all right, with all of this set, let me show you the entire workflow. Once you're ready to export your sounds, the first thing you have to do is go over to Studio Pro, Preferences, and then under the Audio tab, you want to change your recording device from whatever interface you have to the MPC Sample. Now, essentially what's happening here is that we're still going to be able to hear everything from our audio interface because it is still set as a playback device. However, we are now recording through the MPC. Now, once you're done here, click on Session Setup again, and I want you to notice that the moment that we switched our recording device to the MPC, it actually cleared out our entire I/O setup. This is normal because we do need the MPC as a recording device, but this is exactly why I had you export your configuration earlier, so that once we're done, we could always bring it back. In any case, click on your MPC input, click here to link it to the left and right channels, hit apply, and then okay. Now from here, we still have to go old school, unfortunately, because we basically have to mute every single pad except for the one you're trying to export. So I'm gonna start with my kick here. I'm gonna go over to that track, record, enable it, and then last but not least, make sure that I'm on the right BPM. That's important. So 78 here, 78 here, we're good. And then just hit record. Now, I do like to leave a little bit of space here at the end, and I'll explain why in a second, but from here, the process is pretty much the same for every single pad. Go to the next one, record, enable it, mute everything else, unmute the sound you want to export, and then hit record again. Now, if you want more tracks, then a simple way to do this without messing up your routing is to hold the Option or Alt key, click on any one of these pre-configured tracks, and then drag down. Okay, so with everything recorded, go ahead and head on over to the end of your sequence. So for me, it was 4 bars. I'm gonna select everything, cut it out, delete it. Now, the very last thing you'll notice here is that in the very beginning, these sounds are not starting exactly on the 1. I'm assuming this is because of some sort of input lag, and I'm sure you could fix it by, adjusting some of the settings here in Studio Pro, but the easiest way that I found to adjust this on the fly is to cut the ends off here, leave enough at the end first and foremost, but then cut it off. And then what will happen is you can head on over to the beginning of this, select everything, hold the Option or Alt plus the Command and Control, and that should give you this little sort of left and right flag icon. And then you can just simply drag everything together to the beginning. And so with all of this, we finally now have our beat exported into Studio Pro. And so, like I mentioned, this is still a very tedious process. However, I think I'm okay with it because I really enjoy creating on the MPC. For me, this is a very fun little creative portable device that just keeps me creative. It keeps me putting in the reps, and in a weird millennial way, I actually enjoy the process. I enjoy the process of having to go through this, having it not be so easy. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, you tell me. But I'm okay with it. Anyway, I hope you learned something. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you on the next one.